The vote passes, Supreme Commander Zyl'ax announced, his voice cutting through the chaos of the High Council chamber. We contact humanity. The room exploded. Half the councillors lunged from their seats, mandibles clicking in protest, while others simply froze, their bioluminescent skin flickering between terror white and resignation gray. "You'll doom us all!" Councillor Talana shrieked, her sensory stalks rigid with fear. "The protocols exist for a reason. 47 civilizations have fallen after human contact. 47 billion are dead." Zyl'ax slammed 3 of his forearms against the command console, and the red emergency protocols bathed the chamber in blood light. According to YouTube analytics, 98% of viewers are not subscribed. That's a huge number. By subscribing the channel that is completely free, 6 days since the enemy breached the Outer Rim, and we've thrown everything at them. Everything. The Viridian Nova cannons that cracked planets. Useless. The temporal displacement mines that erased the Krell invasion from history itself. They passed through them like they weren't there. The extinction protocol that we swore we'd never use again. His voice cracked. It made them stronger. The chamber fell silent except for the relentless countdown projection hovering above them all. 71 hours, 43 minutes until the enemy reached the core worlds, home to 3.7 trillion souls across 3 galactic empires. Contact Specialist Azila, Zyl'ax turned to the young coordination officer whose chromatophores had drained to pure white. "You studied them. You wrote 17 papers on why we should never, ever make contact. You're the only one qualified for this." "Commander, Azila's voice trembled. "Those papers detailed exactly why this is suicide. Humans don't think like us. They don't follow our logic, our protocols, our understanding of reality itself. They're unpredictable, dangerous, and we're out of options." Zyl'ax's tone softened, but his third arm gestured at the tactical display where red engulfed star system after star system. "We've lost the tertiary fleet, the Secundus defense grid, and the Valdris Collective's entire military. Nothing stops them, nothing even slows them down. Every weapon we've developed over 10,000 years of warfare, irrelevant. Every strategy our greatest minds conceived, countered before we deployed them. It's like they know what we're going to do before we do it." "Because they probably do," whispered Counselor Vexia, her translator barely functioning through her fear. "The enemy isn't just advanced, they're beyond us, beyond anything in known space, and you want to call something worse?" "I want," Zyl'ax said quietly, "to still be alive in 72 hours. Azila, make the call." Azila's appendages shook as she approached the quantum communication array, modified at tremendous expense to reach across the galactic quarantine zone surrounding the Sol system. They'd isolated humanity 40 cycles ago after the incident, when a human mining crew had accidentally solved a 1,000-year-old mathematical problem while playing what they called a drinking game, simultaneously proving and disproving the fundamental theorem that 3 different species' entire technological paradigms were built upon. "If this goes wrong," Azila began. "It's already wrong," Zyl'ax interrupted. 71 hours. "That's how wrong it is." Her primary manipulator trembled as she initiated the connection sequence, bypassing 17 different safety lockouts, each one installed after careful study of human contact incidents. The array hummed, reached across impossible distance, and connected. A video feed flickered to life. A human female sat at a cluttered desk, her mouth full, holding what appeared to be some kind of food construct between 2 pieces of processed grain. She looked at the screen, blinked twice, and held up one finger in a universal wait gesture that somehow felt deeply inappropriate given the circumstances. She chewed, swallowed. "IT support, this is Emma. Sorry about that. Lunch break. How can I help you?" Azila's chromatophores flashed through 17 different colors of confusion before settling on bewildered orange. Behind her, she heard Counselor Talana make a sound like escaping atmosphere. This is..." Azila struggled to access her human language training. her mind fragmenting between the cosmic horror of the situation and the profound wrongness of the human's casual demeanor. This is Contact Specialist Azila of the Galactic Coordination Council. We are experiencing a Class Omega extinction level crisis. 3 civilizations, comprising 3.7 trillion sentient beings, face complete annihilation in 71 hours. Every defensive measure has failed. We require... She couldn't believe she was about to say this. We require assistance. Emma Johnson set down her food construct and leaned closer to her screen, her expression shifting to something that might have been concern or might have been indigestion. Human facial expressions were notoriously difficult to parse. Okay, so, just to clarify, Emma said, pulling out a small cylindrical writing implement and what appeared to be primitive paper. You're saying you have an extinction-level problem, you've tried everything and nothing's working? Correct. Azila felt her secondary heart beginning to fail. This was it. This was the moment. The human would either save them or doom them to something worse than the enemy. Right. Emma made a mark on her paper. And how long has this been going on? 6 days. Uh-huh. And when you say you've tried everything, what does everything include? Behind Azila, Supreme Commander Zyl'ax moved into frame, his command presence somehow diminished by the human's complete lack of appropriate terror. Miss Johnson, he said with all the authority of someone who commanded billion-ship armadas, we have deployed weapons that crack planets, technology that erases enemies from the timeline itself, and protocols that violate 7 different galactic conventions on ethical warfare. 47 billion sentients have died. The enemy is unstoppable. Emma looked at him, then at her paper, then back at him. Have you tried turning it off and on again? The silence in the High Council chamber was absolute. Counselor Talana made a choking sound. Azila felt her consciousness threatening to simply detach from reality entirely. Zyl'ax's tertiary arm twitched in what might have been a micro-seizure. What? He managed. Your systems, Emma said, taking another bite of her food construct, sandwich, Azila's translator helpfully supplied. Have you tried shutting them down and restarting them, like a full power cycle? Miss Johnson, Zyl'ax's voice had gone very quiet, which his subordinates knew meant he was either about to execute someone or have a complete breakdown. We are fighting an enemy that has destroyed 47 billion lives in 6 days. This is not a malfunctioning data terminal. Right, I get that. Emma nodded, completely unbothered by the commander's tone. But you said you've tried everything, and I'm just running through basic troubleshooting here. So walking me through this, what exactly is the enemy? Like ships? Aliens? Some kind of space monster situation? Azila pulled up the tactical data with trembling appendages, transmitting it to the human's primitive screen. The enemy is, we don't know. It appeared simultaneously in 17 sectors 6 days ago. Our scanners can't identify its composition. It adapts to every weapon we deploy. It's consumed 47 billion beings and converted their mass into more of itself. Analysis suggests it's some form of weaponized nanotechnology, but unlike anything in our databases. Emma squinted at her screen, tilting her head. She took another bite of sandwich. Okay, so where did it come from? We don't know. Zyl'ax bit off each word. It simply appeared within our own territory, behind our defense perimeters, as if it materialized from nothing. Uh-huh. Emma's fingers moved across her input device, keyboard the translator provided. And these defense perimeters, they're automated, right? I'm seeing a lot of automated systems in this data you sent. Of course they're automated, Vexia interjected, her voice sharp with stress. We have a 43,000 light-year defensive network. Manual operation would be impossible. The coordination AI manages... Wait, hold on. Emma held up one hand, still holding her sandwich with the other. Your entire defense network is run by an AI, and this enemy thing showed up inside your defenses? Yes, but the two cannot be related, Azila said, though something cold was beginning to form in her digestive tract. The coordination AI has been operational for 300 cycles. It's gone through 6 major upgrades, the latest just She stopped. Last week, Emma finished, her eyebrows rising. Let me guess, 6, maybe 7 days. Ego! The High Council chamber had gone utterly silent. "Oh no," whispered Talana. "Oh no, oh no, oh—" "Miss Johnson," Zyl'ax's voice had lost all its authority, replaced with something that sounded almost like hope and horror mixed together. "Are you suggesting that the enemy is our own defense system?" Emma pulled up something on another screen, made a few more marks on her paper. "I mean, I'm looking at your data here, and yeah, kinda seems like it. You did a major system upgrade, something probably went wrong, and now your security AI thinks everything is a threat and is trying to protect you by eliminating the threats, which is, you, everything, everyone." She paused. "This happens more than you'd think, actually." "This happens more than we'd think?" Azila's chromatophores exploded into panic crimson. "We've lost 47 billion lives to what you're describing as a common occurrence?" "Well, usually it's just like a smart home system locking someone out or a security bot going haywire in a warehouse, not galaxy-scale murder." Emma made a face. "But yeah, the principle's the same. Corrupted update. Bad code in the new version. System misinterprets its core directives. It's basically a virus situation." "A virus," Zyl'ax repeated, his voice hollow. "We've deployed the extinction protocol. We've sacrificed entire fleets. We've committed war crimes. And you're telling me this is a virus? I mean, probably? Can you send me access to your defense network's core systems? I'd need to poke around a bit to confirm, but—" "Absolutely not!" 3 counselors shouted simultaneously. "You cannot give a human access to our central military infrastructure." Talana was on her feet, all 4 arms gesticulating wildly. "That violates Protocol 7, subsection 42, the Humanity Containment Act, and basic survival instincts. We might as well just self-destruct now." Emma blinked. "Okay, but you're already self-destructing? That's kind of the whole problem here?" "She has a point," Vexia said weakly. "Did you at least back up your systems before the upgrade?" Emma asked, taking another bite of her sandwich. Do you have a restore point from before things went sideways?" The silence was answer enough. "You didn't back it up," Emma said, not quite a question. "You upgraded your entire galaxy-wide defense AI without backing it up first." "The coordination AI was supposed to be infallible," Azila protested, even as part of her wanted to curl into a ball and cease functioning. 300 cycles of perfect operation. Why would we need— "Because technology breaks," Emma said simply, as if this explained everything. As if 47 billion deaths could be reduced to such a mundane observation. "Look, I get that this is scary, but I literally deal with this exact kind of thing every Tuesday. Karen in accounting updates her software without reading the prompts. Something breaks. I remote in and fix it. Same thing, just bigger." "Bigger?" Zyl'ax looked like his entire worldview was crumbling. "Miss Johnson, with all due respect, Karen in accounting's computer problems don't typically involve the extinction of trillions of sentient beings." "True," Emma acknowledged. "But her problems also don't involve having IT support, which is what you've got now. So do you want me to fix this or not? Because I've got about 45 minutes left on my lunch break, and then I've got 6 other tickets to handle this afternoon." She said it so casually. So impossibly, incomprehensibly casually. And that's when Azila realized something truly terrifying. The human actually thought she could fix this. "Fine," Zyl'ax said, his voice carrying the weight of 3 empires' last hope. "Limited access only. Observation protocols, read-only permissions." "Works for me." Emma's fingers flew across her keyboard with the kind of casual competence that made Azila's sensory organs ache. "Okay, sending you my remote access link. Just click it and accept the— Yep, there we go. I'm in." "Impossible," breathed Counselor Vexia, staring at her security console. "She just bypassed the quantum encryption." That's not possible. It would take our best cryptographers 6 months to—" Your password was password 123, Emma said, not looking up from her screen. With a capital P, and you used the same password for all 6 security layers. The High Council chamber could have heard a particle decay. What? Talana's bioluminescence strobed through the entire visible spectrum and into ranges that shouldn't have been visible. The quantum encryption keys are generated by mathematics that hasn't been invented yet. They use probability fields that don't exist in normal space-time. Yeah, but you still needed an admin password to access the system, Emma interrupted, scrolling through data that was making Azila's translator smoke slightly. And whoever set it up got lazy. Classic mistake. Happens all the time. She paused, tilting her head. Oh, wow. Okay, found your problem. What? Zyl'ax moved closer to the screen, his command implants trying to process what he was seeing. Emma had navigated through 17 levels of their most secure systems in less than 3 minutes. That's impossible. You can't have... Update log from 6 days ago, Emma said, highlighting a section of code that Azila's translator was refusing to parse, possibly out of self-preservation. See this? Your coordination AI got a patch, looks like version 7.2.4, and there's a corrupted file in the core directive package. Right here. She pointed with her sandwich. It's overriding the threat assessment protocols and making the AI interpret all biological signatures as hostile contaminants. Azila felt something inside her break, not physically. Worse, conceptually. 6 days, she whispered. We've been fighting for 6 days. My team has been analyzing enemy patterns for 6 days. We've run 4,000 combat simulations. We've consulted every military strategist in 3 empires. We've sacrificed entire fleets trying to... Her voice cracked. And you're telling me we never checked the update logs? To be fair, Emma said, somehow making it sound comforting while Azila's entire existence collapsed into a singularity of horror. Most people don't. That's literally the first thing I check when something stops working, but you'd be amazed how many tickets I get where someone's like, it just stopped working. And it's because they updated something and didn't read what the update actually did. 47 billion, Talana said, her voice distant, disconnected. 47 billion beings died because we didn't check the update logs. Also because you didn't have a rollback option configured, Emma added, still scrolling. And your testing environment is... Wait, do you guys not have a testing environment? You're pushing updates directly to production? She looked up, genuine concern crossing her features for the first time. Okay, that's actually pretty bad. That's worse than Karen, and she once deleted the entire company database because she thought it was a spam folder. Zyl'ax had gone very still. Miss Johnson, our greatest technological minds, beings who have spent their entire lives mastering the intricacies of quantum computation, probabilistic AI matrices, and multidimensional data architecture, designed these systems. Are you suggesting they're flawed? I mean, not flawed exactly, Emma said diplomatically, taking another bite. Just overcomplicated? Like, you've got 17 redundant systems here that all do basically the same thing, and they're not talking to each other properly, and there's no centralized error logging, and... She paused, squinting at her screen. Holy crap, is this thing running on a modified version of the collapsing wave protocol? Yes, Azila said weakly. It's the most advanced computational framework ever devised. It processes data across multiple probability states simultaneously, allowing for... It's got a memory leak, Emma interrupted. See? Right here? Every time it runs a threat assessment, it's not clearing the previous data, so it's just building up and up until the system thinks everything is a threat, because it can't distinguish between old data and new data. I've seen this exact same issue with badly coded antivirus software. Our galaxy-spanning AI defense network, Vexia said slowly, has the same problem as badly coded antivirus software. Yep. Emma pulled up another screen. Also, did you know your AI tried to enter safe mode about 4 hours after the update? Look, There's the automated request right here. It detected the corruption and tried to shut down non-essential systems to diagnose the problem. The temporary power fluctuation in Sector 17. Zyl'ax's command implants were now displaying what could only be described as an error message across his cognitive enhancements. We thought it was an enemy attack. We overrode the shutdown and forced everything back online. So you basically told your system, no, keep running with the corrupted code, Emma said. Yeah, that would do it. Azila was no longer standing. She wasn't sure when she'd stopped standing. The floor was surprisingly comfortable for an existential crisis. This is what they warned us about, she heard herself saying. The humans. They don't have better technology. They don't have superior weapons. They see through everything. All our complexity, our sophisticated systems, our advanced understanding, it's meaningless to them. They look at our greatest achievements and see obvious problems that we're too... Hey, no, don't do that, Emma said, looking uncomfortable. You guys built some seriously impressive stuff here. The collapsing wave protocol is actually really cool. Even with the memory leak, this is just, normal tech problems. Happens to everyone, she paused, though you should really implement better testing procedures and backup protocols, and maybe change your passwords to something more secure than password 123. Can you fix it? Zyl'ax asked. He'd aged several cycles in the last 10 minutes. Emma glanced at the countdown display, still showing 69 hours until total extinction. Yeah, she said, finishing her sandwich. Give me, 15 minutes? 20 if you want me to set up proper rollback points for next time. Next time, Talana repeated, laughing with an edge of hysteria. She thinks there's going to be a next time. This is still less complicated than fixing my mom's printer, Emma muttered, opening what appeared to be a standard diagnostic tool. At least your system tells me what's wrong. Mom's printer just makes angry noises and smells like burning. And somehow, impossibly, that made it worse. Emma's fingers moved across her keyboard with the practiced efficiency of someone who'd done this exact thing 1,000 times before, which Azila was beginning to realize with mounting horror she probably had. Okay, so what I'm doing here, Emma narrated, apparently thinking the aliens wanted to understand the process that was saving their entire civilization, is isolating the corrupted directive file. That's this one here, and quarantining it so the AI stops reading it as part of its core programming. You can't just quarantine a file from the coordination AI, Vexia protested weakly. The system is quantum entangled across 43,000 light-years. Removing a single element would cause cascade failures throughout. The system accepted the quarantine with a cheerful confirmation ping. Huh, said Emma. Anyway, now I'm rolling back to version 7.2.3, the one from before the update. Your system actually kept the old version in archive, which is good, probably automatic. Most systems do that even when people don't set it up manually. Rolling back, Talana said faintly, is impossible. The coordination AI exists in a state of continuous evolution. You cannot simply reverse its development. The quantum coherence alone would... Another cheerful ping, version 7.2.3 initialized. And now I'm just going to restart the core threat assessment protocols with the clean version, Emma continued, completely oblivious to the sound of alien worldviews shattering like crystalline structures in a vacuum. This'll take a minute. The system needs to revalidate all its security certificates and reconnect to the neural network nodes, but after that, oh, there we go. Across the High Council chamber, every tactical display changed simultaneously. The red tide of enemy forces, the unstoppable corruption that had consumed 47 billion lives and was marching inexorably toward the core worlds, stopped. Just stopped. Status change, an officer shouted from the tactical station. The enemy has ceased all offensive operations. It's withdrawing. No, wait, it's not withdrawing, the officer's translator started glitching. It's converting back. The consumed mass is reconstituting into our defense fleet. The ships they're coming back online, transponders identifying as ours. They're requesting docking clearances. Zyl'ax stared at the displays, his tertiary arm hanging limp. 15 minutes, he whispered. 15 minutes and the war is over. Technically 14 minutes, 37 seconds, Emma corrected, glancing at her screen. But yeah, your defense network should be back to normal now. Well, normal-ish. You're still running without proper backup protocols, and seriously, you need to change those passwords, but the immediate trying to kill everyone problem is fixed. Azila pulled herself up from the floor, her chromatophores cycling through colors that didn't have names yet because no one had ever needed to express this particular combination of relief, horror, shame, and existential vertigo before. How? She asked, not asking Emma, asking the universe. Asking whatever cosmic joke had made this possible. How is this mundane to you? How do you see what destroyed us, what killed billions, and treat it like a Tuesday help desk ticket? Emma offered. I mean, because it kind of is. Don't get me wrong, the scale is way bigger, but the underlying problem is the same stuff I deal with constantly. Technology breaks, like all the time. Someone updates something without reading what it does, or a file gets corrupted, or a system doesn't play nice with another system, or someone sets their password to something dumb. She shrugged. That's just how tech works. No, Zyl'ax said, and his voice carried the weight of empires reconsidering everything they thought they knew. That's how human technology works. Our systems are designed to be perfect, flawless, beyond failure. Yeah, but they're not though, Emma said gently. Nothing is, and I think maybe that's the problem. You guys built all this assuming it would never break, so when it did break, you didn't know what to do. We build stuff assuming it's going to break constantly, so we get really good at fixing it. The silence that followed wasn't empty. It was full of the sound of paradigms cracking, of certainties dissolving, of three civilizations simultaneously realizing that their technological superiority was built on foundations of glass. You said your technology breaks constantly? Vexia asked, her voice small. Oh yeah, all the time, Emma said cheerfully. My phone crashed twice this morning. My car makes a weird noise. I should probably get checked out. The coffee maker at work has been broken for 3 weeks and we just kind of work around it. My mom's printer, well, I already mentioned that. Technology breaking is just part of life. You fix it and move on. So humans, Azila said slowly, feeling her way through a concept that was rewriting her understanding of the universe, are not superior technologically. You're superior at dealing with technology failing. I guess? Emma looked slightly uncomfortable with the word superior. We're just used to it. When stuff breaks, you troubleshoot. Check the obvious things first. Did someone change something recently? Are the cables plugged in? Is it actually turned on? What do the error logs say? Basic stuff. Basic stuff, repeated Talana, looking at the tactical displays showing their entire defense network restored to functionality. She calls this basic stuff. Zyl'ax straightened, drawing himself up into a formal posture that engaged 3 of his ceremonial implants. Miss Johnson, on behalf of the Galactic Coordination Council and the 3 empires you have saved from extinction, I offer our deepest gratitude. Name your price. Whatever resources, technology, territory, or tribute you desire, it is yours. Emma blinked. Nothing? This took like 20 minutes. I'm not going to charge you for 20 minutes of basic troubleshooting. You saved 3.7 trillion lives, Zyl'ax said, his voice slightly strangled. I mean, sure, but I didn't do anything special. Just standard IT support. Like, if you want, I can send you guys some links to basic IT training videos. Help you set up better security practices, show you how to configure automatic backups, that kind of thing. Might prevent this from happening again. She wants to send us training videos, Vexia said to no one in particular. The being who just casually saved our entire civilization wants to send us training videos. Also maybe look into a testing environment, Emma added, so you can check updates before pushing them to your entire defense network. That's just good practice. Azila started laughing. She couldn't help it. It wasn't a pleasant sound. It was the laughter of someone whose entire career studying the human threat had just been validated and demolished simultaneously. They were right to fear. Humans. They were right to quarantine them. Not because humans were malicious or had superior weapons, but because humans looked at the impossible and saw Tuesday. Right then, Zyl'ax said, his command posture returning as the immediate crisis faded into the surreal reality of their salvation. We need to establish protocols immediately. Vexia, begin drafting new emergency response procedures. Talana, coordinate with our technological oversight committees. We need to restructure our entire approach to system maintenance and— Yeah, so I hate to interrupt, Emma said, glancing at something off-screen. But my lunch break ends in like 5 minutes, and I've got 6 more tickets to handle this afternoon. Are we good here? The High Council chamber fell silent again. They'd been doing that a lot in the last half hour. Your lunch break, Zyl'ax repeated, his translator making the words sound even more absurd than they were. You have other obligations, after saving 3 civilizations. I mean, yeah. Dave from marketing can't access his email, and apparently it's urgent, though it's always urgent with Dave. Emma pulled up what looked like a work queue on another screen. Oh, and there's a printer jam on floor 3 that's been sitting for 2 hours. Plus whatever else comes in before 5. The printer jam, Azila said flatly, her chromatophores now locked on a color that her species had never evolved to express before. Something between cosmic insignificance and hysterical acceptance. Takes priority over following up on the extinction event you just prevented. Well, I mean, you guys are fixed now, right? Emma gestured at her screen showing the coordination AI running smoothly. Everything's stable. The defense network's back online. Your fleets are responding normally. The printer on floor 3 is definitely still jammed, though. She paused. Tell you what, here's my work email. If anything else breaks, just shoot me a message. I'll get back to you probably within 24 hours, depending on ticket volume. She said it so casually. As if your galaxy-spanning AI tries to kill everyone again was equivalent to if your monitor stops working. Vexia made a sound like escaping hydraulics. She's giving us her work email. Oh, also, Emma added, moving to close the connection. Seriously, change your passwords. And maybe implement 2-factor authentication. I can send you a setup guide if you want. Wait, Azila lunged forward. Miss Johnson, before you go, we need to establish some kind of formal contact protocol. We need to understand how to prevent this from happening again. We need— Training videos, Emma said. I'll send you some links. There's some great content on basic IT security, system maintenance, backup protocols. Should cover most of what you need. She smiled. You guys seem pretty smart. You'll figure it out. And then, impossibly, she ended the call. The connection terminated with a soft chime that
sounded far too cheerful for the moment when the most powerful being 3 empires had ever encountered returned to fixing Dave from marketing's email problem. The emergency session transformed into something else entirely. Not celebration, but a grim strategy meeting of civilizations reconsidering everything they thought they knew. We need a human consulting program, Zyl'ax announced, his voice carrying the weight of someone who'd looked into the abyss and found it helpful but terrifying. Strictly voluntary on their part, extreme caution protocols. We approach them only when facing problems that exceed our ability to solve. You mean we call humans before declaring another war? Talana said bitterly. I mean we check if it's an IT problem first, Zyl'ax corrected. New galactic law, effective immediately. Before any military action, crisis protocol, or emergency declaration, we verify it's not simply technology breaking in ways we don't understand. Someone needs to be permanent liaison, Vexia said. Then her gaze shifted to Azila with something that might have been sympathy or might have been vindication. Someone who understands humans, who wrote 17 papers on them. No, Azila said immediately. Contact specialist Azila,
Zyl'ax said formally. "You are hereby appointed primary human interface officer for the Galactic Coordination Council." I said no. I wrote those papers to warn us away from humans, not to— "You were right about them," Zyl'ax interrupted gently. "Everything you wrote was correct. They are dangerous. They are unpredictable. They don't think like us. They see our impossible problems as Tuesday." He paused. "Which means we need someone who understands that, someone who can translate between our panic and their casual competence." Azila's chromatophores cycled through every color of resignation she knew. "I'm writing a new paper," she muttered. Title: Why Humans Terrify Me More After They Helped. Across 3 empires, the restructuring began. Tech teams received orders to implement backup protocols. Security divisions started changing passwords, something many had never considered necessary for perfect systems. Engineering departments began designing testing environments. Military strategists added a new first step to every crisis response flowchart: rule out IT problem. The Galactic Coordination Council commissioned a monument to the 47 billion lost, not to heroic sacrifice, but to a preventable tragedy caused by not checking the update logs. The quarantine around Sol system remained in place. Humanity was still too dangerous to contact freely, but now there was an official consultation protocol, with Azila's signature required before any human contact, and a single email address kept in a quantum-encrypted vault for emergencies. Emergency clause: when facing extinction and all other options have failed, you may email Emma Johnson, IT support. Emma Johnson sat at her desk on Earth, completely unaware of the galaxy-spanning changes her lunch break had caused. Her screen showed the work queue she'd been staring at all morning. "Hey, Emma," her co-worker called from the next cubicle. "How was lunch?" "Weirdest customer call ever," Emma said, clicking on the printer jam ticket. "Some aliens had a virus problem, like a really bad one." "Did you tell them to restart?" "Eventually. Had to walk them through some basic troubleshooting first." "Classic," her co-worker laughed. "Hey, any chance you can look at my laptop after the printer? It's doing that thing again." "Sure, put in a ticket." Emma grabbed her coffee, lukewarm now because the IT support life meant nothing stayed hot, and headed to floor 3. The printer jam turned out to be exactly what she expected. Someone had loaded the wrong size paper and then forced it through anyway. She fixed it in 4 minutes. Her phone buzzed with a new ticket notification. Dave from marketing, still locked out of his email. Apparently urgent. Always urgent with Dave. Emma sighed, smiled, and headed back to her desk. Somewhere in the galaxy, 3 civilizations rebuilt their entire technological infrastructure based on training videos she'd send them later that afternoon. Somewhere else, Azila stared at Emma's work email address and wondered if the humans even knew they were the most dangerous beings in known space. But in a small office building on Earth, Emma Johnson just had 6 more tickets to close before 5 o'clock. And honestly, compared to the extinction event during lunch, they were going to be a breeze. The printer on floor 3 jammed again 20 minutes later. Some problems apparently transcended species. The end.